This is a tutorial video for Jay. Jay, this is your new Ben Kenobi Saber, fully installed with the ShtokCustomWorx chassis and the ShtokCustomWorx upgrades to the Rudy Pando crystal chamber, ShtokCustomWorx V3 connector and a ProffieBoard install. Let's jump right in and show you how to operate it. So pop this little back cover off here, gives you access to your kill switch, your ProffieBoard access, your SD card access and your recharge port. So we'll just switch the kill switch
Hello there.
on, and it's on the Ben Kenobi font. You can pop it back on. You can also screw this pommel off for access, but we'll go through that a little bit later. But this is the easiest way to access the back. So your activation switch is going to be right here, this side of your clamp. Blue for your Ben Kenobi. This is your auxiliary. So you got your blaster effects, and hold down for 1 second, there's music. You got your main theme on there. And hold down for 1 second again to turn off. So now to access your chassis or your crystal chamber reveal, you open the clamp and twist and just pull gently out to reveal your beautiful crystal chamber, the Rudy Pando crystal chamber with the Shtok upgrades printed in silver and with a real quartz crystal inside, cut and shaped to suit. So one important thing about this clamp is you do not try to operate it without this being closed. So you got to close this again in order for the buttons to work correctly. If it's open, they'll still work, but they'll be a little bit weird. One might get held down, or it is kind of based on I'm looking in here now, you see the little tactile switch in there. It's based on this being squeezed in to get that click.
Only a Sith deals in absence.
So that's on to the next font. That's an Obi-Wan font, a young Obi-Wan font. So your blade is not going to light up while this is open, because there's a PCB connection in here. We'll show you a bit later. So you just see, if you just close it, your blade will light up. So you can have one or the other, but unfortunately not both at the same time. You have your crystal chamber or your blade. So let's close this again before we press any buttons. And we'll just move on and show you a couple of different nice colors. Luke Skywalker, of course, we go to green, and the crystal pulses from cyan to green. Vader, of course, you have your red. And you see how the crystal matches. The crystal matches the clashes on the blade. There's some force effects. Let's just switch off and close it up. So there we go, closed up. And let's just show you some more reveals here. I'm just going to switch it off for a moment. You just got to be careful with these little pieces that come out, and I'm just going to show you how you can also screw off this end, and then just screw this off. The whole lot screws out in separate pieces to reveal your chassis. There's really no need for you to ever actually do this or view this, but it's just kind of interesting to be able to see your chassis installed. These little covers even pop off to reveal your ProffieBoard. That's where your ProffieBoard's been wired and installed, and you've got your battery right here. Okay, so I'll just move this aside and pop these back on. I have to look around the camera to pop these back on because I can't do it looking at the camera. They do have specific sides they go on. They are not one size fits all. So that is for that side. And that is for that side. They'll click on, they'll click nicely into place. and we can just screw these pieces back on. Maybe before I do that, I will just show you it completely disassembled. So once we open it up, we can go ahead and take out this Allen key. I'm just gonna grab a, oops, the camera almost fell over. I'm just gonna grab an Allen key. I didn't have this prepared, but there we go. So an Allen key this size to open up right here. And this whole grenade section pops right off. And you also have a Shtok PCB in here. So let's close our clamp, turn on the saber, and light it up. You also have a Shtok Neopixel in here. So that is the saber disassembled, and this also screws away right here to reveal your, this is your PCB connection. That these are the two that connect together when the grenade is all closed. There is some further disassembly you can do. You can take out these screws and take out the clamp and pop out the switches and take this off, but I don't advise you ever do that. There's no need to do it, and it's just a bit tricky to get this this switch all back working and get these in nice and tight. So I would advise you that this should be as far as a disassembly you should do. So let me put it all back together. Screw this back on and screw the end back on. There. Let's just switch it off for the moment so we don't hit any buttons or anything by mistake. I'll pop that back on. And now our grenade section. So when putting this back on, you want to line up the grub screw with the little track and screw it in so this just gives you some nice smooth action. You don't want to over tighten it. And then let's screw our emitter back onto our grenade section. And that's it. So to close this up, you should always open, close, always be nice and gentle, and then twist, and then clamp. It is worth noting that this saber is, even though it's nice and heavy, there's a nice weight to it, it's just absolutely not designed for dueling. I wouldn't advise any dueling with this saber whatsoever. Also because we have it's a thin neck, so you don't have as much blade retention, which does bring me on to your blade. So I'm just doing a little bit of repositioning here to show you your blade. This is your custom made blade with the recessed PCB. As you can see with these thin neck sabers, the PCB comes pretty far up. So a flush PCB on a regular blade would offer you little or no blade retention. So with this one, we get the full blade retention all the way down with that recessed PCB. The PCB has been recessed and held into place with some Allen keys and glued in, which does leave like a kind of a little bit of a shadow here because the working parts of the PCB and the blade holder, or the PCB holder rather, is recessed right up to the edge of the blade, so it can kind of be seen when it's sorted into the blade. So to overcome that, I've installed this piece of this is actually from a PVC like pipe for a kitchen sink, but it's aluminum finish PVC, and then I've weathered it to match nicely to the finish of the saber. So I think it came out pretty nice. It's glued on there with 2-part epoxy, so it's not going anywhere. And this blade is, you know, obviously going to be exclusively for your MK1. It's not going to be used or anything else. So to insert it in, you want to put your blade in, and while you're putting it in, grab your grenade section nice and tight and push your blade in and twist while pushing, because it's pretty tight. And once it's twisted and pushed the whole way in, that plastic holder should fit exactly flush and leave no gaps, right like that. And you see, I think it blends in nicely with the saber. Now you're gonna tighten your retention screw nice and tight. Don't over tighten it, of course, but just, you know, a nice tight fit to give you maximum retention. As I said, do not ever duel with this saber, because besides it being, you know, an expensive collector's piece, custom piece with all your little complicated innards in here that could get shattered and broken, also it doesn't have the blade retention to be bashing it off other blades, but it certainly has the retention for swinging it around, so it's good for that. So let's pop off the end and turn you on again.
Hello there.
It was already on, so I turned it off and back on. And on the Ben Kenobi font again, I'm just gonna twist the camera around a bit to get the whole blade in there. Apologies for my messy workstation. And there is your blade. Let me just swing it around here to show you your holder and the end. It all looks great. Of course, I have weathered your buttons here as requested. Then you can move on fonts.
I'm Luke
And go on and show you a different color. You've got your green. And then I'm gonna send you a leaflet basically with all the controls as well, but I'll also run you through if you're here. So if you hold down,
I'm a Jedi.
okay, that's a force effect, because I held it down for 1 second. If you hold down the button for 1 second, you get dialogue and force effects
Your overconfidence is your
here.
weakness.
But if you completely hold it down and hit the saber, you get lock up. And that's the same. If you point it down, you get tip drag. You see that here, it's not quite coming out on camera, but it looks like you're basically dragging the saber along the ground, like it's melting in. And it also has wall melt, which is the same thing, but just horizontally into the wall. Now let's move on. Let's look at a red one. This is onto the Vader.
Master Windu.
Of course, you got your purple for Mace Windu. Got your green for Yoda.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Anakin, you got your blue. Sidious red.
Rey Skywalker.
Rey yellow.
Traitor!
Kylo Ren, of course you have your unstable fire kind of effect. And then moving on to the factory fonts, I've left you just some different kind of blades on here, and I'll leave it as a little surprise for you too, to find all the music behind the fonts. I'm not going to demonstrate them all, but for example, there's the Cantina music. Cantina music behind one of the factory fonts. Another factory font has an audio flicker with a yellow blade. And this blade is yellow right now, pretty much same as Rey's. But another thing I want to show you here is color changing on the fly, and with save state enabled as it currently is, as you requested. Whatever you change your blade to, it's going to stay like that. So hold down the auxiliary button on the back here, and press your main button once till you hear a tone. You hear that little tone, and then you're going to rotate your blade, rotate your hilt. It's going to change to any color you want. Going from blue round to green, purple, going into a kind of a red purple. It doesn't quite come out on camera. The slower you go, that's a kind of a back to green. It's not coming out great on the audio flicker with the camera either, but once you're saved, you press the main. Let's go on to another font and demonstrate that again. So that didn't. There we go. Let's demonstrate it on this one. There we go. So as you twist, you see how the color changes. Apologies for the sirens outside. That is a part of living in New York. There's never 15 minutes without a siren. They're basically, as you find a color you like, you press the main button again to save. So let me also show you another. Let me show you another control. I'm going to take the blade out for a moment. So when you're taking your blade out, also like twist it around. Don't just yank it out. Twist it nicely. It's going to come out nice and easy. Like I said, it is nice and tight. Just giving it a nice twist. It's going to come out. So let's switch back on here. Let's go back around. Oh, actually, this is the battery font. I should have left the blade in to show you this. So the battery font is going to show you the battery level on the blade. So right now you're about 80% full, and it has the city is shouting unlimited power, just for fun. And behind it, I think I've got the Mandalorian theme. So I'm going to switch back off. And what did I want to show you next? Oh yeah, let me switch back on because I know what I want to show you next. Let me go back to the main. Back to the main font, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I just wanted to show you also the volume controls on this saber. While the blade is off, in the off position and the saber is on, hold down auxiliary for 1 second and you'll hear a tone like that. Once that tone plays, you are in the volume control menu. And in the menu, we do auxiliary touches to go down and main switch touches to go up. So for example, that second tone means I'm at the highest level. So if I go down, 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 you hear it's getting lower until a different tone will play. That's the lowest right there. Now that's all. Let's go back all the way up. And once you've set it to the middle, the highest, lowest, whatever you need it to be, hold down auxiliary again for 1 second, and that tone will get you back out. And then you're back into your normal mode. Force effects, hold down for 1 second while blade is on, the main button.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
So we call it force effects, but it's kind of a combination. It's got force effects and dialogue for different fonts. It's just a fun little feature. Of course, going forward through fonts is the auxiliary button, and going backwards through fonts. If I want to go back now to Ben Kenobi, I hold down auxiliary and press main. So hold down and press. So cycle forward through font.
I'm Luke Skywalker.
Forward through font. Forward.
Master Windu.
The music under Master Windu is Duel of the Fates. Let's have another look at our crystal chamber. So you see that beautiful crystal. The beautiful crystal chamber. Pulsing purple for Mace Windu. And that's pretty much everything you need to know. Like I said, I'm going to include an instruction booklet with this on how to operate everything. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me. And that's it. It's going to be shipping out to you very soon. It's all ready to go. So I hope you enjoy your new saber. And may the force be with you.